Hello, I am Manoj Kumar. I work for Nidesic. I have around 9 years of experience on Microsoft technologies and various platforms. So today I'm going to continue my discussion on BizTalk server, and today I will discuss messaging fundamentals. BizTalk messaging architecture. So you can clearly see we have receive port, send port, orchestration, and message box. Messages from outside world into a BizTalk system enters through receive port, and then it is published after processing. It is published to message box. Message box is SQL Server DB, which holds all the information about a message and its parts, and as well as subscription information. If any subscriber is available for the published message. This can be published to orchestration, or it can be subscribed to any orchestration, or it can be subscribed through any send port or send port group. If orchestration using any message, and if any changes happen to message, it will again recreate a new message, and it will publish to message box. So this is the once it reaches to send port, messages are again passes through different pipelines, and maps are applied, and it is sent exits BizTalk system, and it goes out. So coming to various terms which are used in messaging. Message is a data file in any format. I discussed these terms, most of these terms in my last screencast as well. But since these are very much related to messaging, I am going to just go through them again. So message is data file. Messages are immutable, means once it is created it cannot be changed. If we need to change any message, then we need to create a new message. Multi-part message. Message is made up of 0 or more parts. One of these parts identifies as body part. Each part consists of binary chunk of data. So message can have multiple parts. Each parts, if very large message, it will have many parts. Each part is binary chunk of data. Either it's .NET class or any binary any memory stream data, or it can be XML flat files, right? Messaging is flow of message. So message routed right from receive port to send port, or through orchestration, and this is called messaging. Translation. So translations happens in pipeline, and it's like changing initial format to appropriate message which can be stored in BizTalk. Transformation, creating a correspondence between source and target schema. So maps can be applied to convert message of one schema type to another schema type. Message correlation, ability to relate a message being received to an already running orchestration instance. So message correlation is very interesting concept. So if any orchestration, so if it sends any message and it wanted to receive asynchronously anything, then message correlation can be used. Routing. Routing, moving messages to subscribers through subscription or filtering. Content-based routing. So messages contain envelope and various other configuration properties. So messages can be routed on those. If any, for example, order, we have order ID. So order ID can be promoted and it can become part of message context, and which can be used to route a message. If order ID equal to this, then route. If order ID less than this, like that, or order amount. Routing failure, if no subscription exists for a published message, then it can lead to a failure in the routing. Message box is message persistence and routing engine for BizTalk, and we can have multiple message box, but one message box acts as a master. Message context. It is set of promoted properties available for routing or distinguished field in orchestration. So message context is one important part of message which is used throughout in messaging for routing, or there can be distinguished field or promoted properties which is used throughout routing or in orchestration. So now few most important thing in messaging, receive port and send port. So receive port, send port, it is collection of receive location. So receive location, a port can have multiple. And what is location? It consists of pipelines and adapters. So I want to connect to WCF. I want to connect to SAP. So we need adapters for that, so that by using them we can connect BizTalk to that system. So it can location contains adapter information as well as what kind of pipeline it is going to use to process the message. Then we have something called send port group. It is collection of send ports, just like email list. Endpoint manager, that's a service responsible for managing send and receive ports, and it also acts as intermediary between the ports and message box. It plays an important role. Then adapter. Adapter is for transport and communication between two systems. Example, adapter for HTTP, WCF, SQL, like that. So now we'll look a little more detail about a port, what a port contains, port components. For example, we have receive port. So when a message comes to receive port through adapter, it passes to pipelines which contain various steps. It can be the assembler, decoding, or it can have a validating, parsing, like that. So once message is created along with context, it is available for mapping. Maps can be applied directly in receive port. This will be called inbound mapping. So this mapping can be applied. It will transform the message into a into a new schema, which might be internal as a target schema, and finally this is published to message box. So you can see here, adapted reads bytes from transport. Pipelines perform pre-processing on messaging stages. So new internal message may be transformed according to maps. The result is then published to message box. So once it is published to message box, then message is created and it is ready for subscription. So these steps, adapter pipeline maps, is true for send port, but in reverse order. Okay, we talked about pipelines. So we'll look into that. What is pipelines in BizTalk messaging? So every send, receive location or send port can contain 0 or more pipelines applied to it. So numerous pipeline components see part of the box. So we have many pipeline components which is used out of the box. We can also write custom pipeline components if needed. Pipeline is series of component which executes in sequence. So this sequence is important. So steps like decoding, encoding. Decoding will happen in receive. Encoding can happen in send port. Reassembling, assembling, decryption, encryption, parsing, validation, party resolution, steps like that. These prepare message so that it can be published to message box or sent out from BTS, BizTalk server. In pass-through, so there can be pipelines like we have default pipelines available in BizTalk, XML receive, pass-through receive, XML transit, pass-through transit. So in pass-through, messages directly pass to message box or it goes out of a BizTalk system without processing. So XML receive, it contains the XML disassembler. This assembler is used to build a message, messages and its context. Or if any party resolution components are there, those things are used in XML receive. So XML receive is required if we need to, for example, if we need to map a message to an internal message. So it has to create a message along with the context, right? So or any message context information we need, then we need to use XML receive pipeline. Pass-through receive doesn't contain any pipeline components. Again, XML transit for send port contains XML assembler component, just reverse of what is happening in XML receive. It will assemble, it will apply encryption, things like that. And then we have pass-through transit, which contains no pipeline. So now, after discussing all this, we are going to see how to create a port, receive port, send port, using adapter, pipelines, and things like that. So I will open BizTalk server administration. So here we'll go to any application. So let's take any of them. Okay, purchase order project. So we'll first see receive port. Okay. So let's create a new port. So port can be one way, two way, request response, or it can be one way. So if it is a one way port, let's create a one way port. For example, it can be receive order. Okay, receive order, and just keep things like that. Here itself, we can apply. We can add location. We can just say new, or we can do in different way by using this receive locations. And here, if any mapping is there, maps can be applied. If you select here, maps will be available. But in this case, right now we don't have any map. So let's create this receive order. Okay. So my receive order is now created. We'll go to receive location. So here I can do like this, or just on the surface I can do like this. So one way receive location. So now you can see for which port it is asking for which port you are going to create. So I have just created receive order. So we'll select that. So here it will ask, okay, receive order location. Okay, let's say keep it location 1. Receive order location. Now here we need to apply, okay, what kind of transport type or transport address it will use. So it's like a like adapter information. What kind of adapter it will use? HTTP, MSMQ, SOAP, SQL. So this is the adapter information we need to provide, right? So let's use file adapter, and we'll configure it, right? So what is the receive folder for the file adapter? So let's browse see. I have one folder already created, so I will just give order pick. So provided this, I just keep everything rest as like that. So it has file adapter and receive handler. So you need to provide which host it will be. So it is BizTalk server application host. And then which pipeline we need to use. By default, it has selected pass through receive. So just keep the same. I don't want any processing of the received message, and click OK. Okay. So now my receive order location 1 is created. Now just enable it. Okay. And once it is enabled, my receive port is done. So now we'll create send port. In the same way, create send port. So send order. Okay, send order. And here again I will select adapter type of file. We'll configure it. We'll give the path where I want to drop the file. Let's pick any folder, and we'll use XML. So here you can see it will create as message ID. Message ID is going to be a GUID, so it will create message ID.xml, and just keep everything else same. Okay. So send order, and just use pass through transit. I don't want any I want to use any pipeline components, so just pass through transit and click OK. Okay, so you got an interesting error. So send port, send order already exists. So select a unique name. So obviously, if uh, any port is already exists, you need to select. So uh, you might get a error like this folder. In some cases, this folder is already mapped to some other port. So things like that will come, and with very good clear description of the error, which can be, so I will just keep it send order to. Okay, so now it is created send order to. So this send order, you can see like here there is no port called send order, but it can be there in any of the deployed application. So that's why it should be unique. Your port name should be unique. So you can have names like a little complex name so that it's always unique. So this port is created. So I will enlist it and then start it. Okay, so it's started. So in this way I created send port. So for now coming to groups. So if we have multiple send port for application and I want to run all of them for any message, I can create a send port group itself. So it's like creating a group and what all groups are there. So it is just like that. So uh, even filters can be applied. I will show you filters. This is subscription of any message type. So that is send port group. So in this way, this send port with whatever location I want to use, adapter I want to use, that is created. Now, okay, let's go back to presentation. So yeah, now after going through all this terminologies, we'll see what is actually message processing in BizTalk. What all things happen? So once an adapter create a message as message type I base message or I base part. So messages are created, inherited from this interface and this interface. So adapter writes or promote properties into message context. So adapter does this. Adapter passes message to transport proxy managed by endpoint manager, and then message is processed through receive pipeline, which deals with the message content, and it look for different properties. If any properties are promoted or marked as distinguished, it put in the context like that. So it can do decoding, the assembling of message, and validating the message, and then also context, along with context is also processed in all the stages of pipeline, all the steps, all the components of the pipeline. So this content as well as context is processed, continuously keeps read and updated in the pipeline. Then if any inbound mapping or mapping is there, then it will be applied. Mapping orchestration is a different way. Once message is read from message box, subscribed by any orchestration, then orchestration we can do mapping. But mapping can also done in a receive port, so inbound mapping. Then endpoint manager. Once message is with endpoint manager, which then it passes message to message agent. Message agent is interface between message box and everything else. So message agent then publishes message to publish this message to message box. Then message gets routed to send port or to orchestration, and when message is ready to be sent from BizTalk, all steps are applied in the reverse order. Whatever happened, right? For a message. which is happened in the receive port, and message go out after applying mapping or processing to send pipelines. So these are the steps which are applied in message processing. Two most important things which I discussed about promoted and distinguished fields or properties. So promoted properties. Promotion of message property creates decision points and become part of message context. Whole message must be loaded to be integrated so that process can find which properties are promoted. So whole messages should be loaded, so which is a pain. And message property should be limited to 255 characters. And promoted fields, so these promoted fields or properties can be used for routing, correlation, or tracking. So this is the main use why we need any promotion of the property. Then we have distinguished field. So distinguished field is a lighter way of accessing any message property in orchestration. This distinguished field is like writing. It's like marking any property as distinguished. So it is like writing a property in message context. Promotion is like marking is promoted property to true for any property. So it is like that. So once we create once we promote any property, it creates especially in orchestration, it creates properties schema which has all the details, which property is promoted, and there it marks is promoted to true, like that. So distinguished field is a reference to any field name of any message. So distinguished field should be used when particular message element is commonly manipulated in one or more orchestration steps. So see the difference between two, promoted and distinguished. So promoted properties used for routing, distinguished field do not participate in routing. This is the main difference. So is promoted false, is promoted true. This can be used for tracking promoted, but that cannot be used. It is restricted to 255 characters. Property is restricted, but here there is no size limit. This is available, even distinguished fields are available in our orchestration. It can be accessed in orchestration sets. And next screencast, when I will discuss about orchestration, we can see this in the walkthrough. Required property schema doesn't require property schema distinguished field. These promoted properties used by standard pipeline components, but distinguished field can only be used by custom pipeline. If we need to write a specific code to do that. So we need to write custom pipeline component which can use them. So this is the main difference between promoted and distinguished properties, and it's very, very important to understand. Okay, now let's try to understand message publishing and routing. So this is heart of BizTalk. So let's I've just okay. Here we'll discuss one by one. So receive handler. This is receive handler, which is adapter, location, and pipeline components. So receive port. Message comes to receive port. Then we have messages created, constructed, and saved in message. Message constructed as context and message. If any promotion is there, it will get added to context. Then there are few SP stored procedures which are used, like insert property or insert message predicates. These are used to insert data in message box. So predicates which are used for subscription. Then we have some more stored procedure like BTS find subscription, BTS insert message. Then see here. Then we have find subscription, which uses predicates and the subscription, which will contain the subscribers. So what values are needed to validate against predicates? So once that is done, if it is validated, then it is inserted into message into message box. So message parts, all the message parts you can see here, message parts will be inserted. So if any subscription is found, then it will be evaluated and then it will be added to the queue because those are subscribed. And then there are multiple dequeuing threads which are running, which is keep polling message box, right? So that will those will read those messages and then it will be passed to send port or to orchestration, or for example tracking, caching, all those things will be done. It will goes to orchestration or to send port. So this is thing which happens inside message publishing and routing. So we'll again go through steps. So message ready to publish to message box. Message agent inserts promoted property and predicate values from message context into MB. MA asks, MA means message agent. So I can see all these steps are written. So message agent asks MB to find subscriptions. So here subscriptions are found. So MA inserts, message agent inserts after validating subscription. So then we have message ID, subscription ID, service ID, which orchestration instance or which send port, so service ID and other subscription information are inserted into application specific queue table for each subscription. Then the message and body parts inserted into spool table. Each subscriber through dequeuing threads here, through dequeuing threads, keep polling MB message box for the messages, and once messages are there, they start processing it. Host instance get locked to handle, so whoever is polling gets the message, and then it gets a lock on that. Once it finishes, send port invoked, send port or orchestration. These two are subscribers, so those are invoked with that message. Once host releases reference to the message, then messages, if any other, if we don't have any other reference, then message can be deleted from the BizTalk message box. So this is message publishing and routing engine in message in BizTalk. Yeah. So we saw like in message publishing and routing, few things are very important, like publishers, receive port orchestrations. These can publish messages to message box. So receive port can receive a message, process it through pipelines, apply inbound mapping, and then it publishes to a message box. Even in orchestration, it can create a new message by modifying any property or by modifying, adding a new property like that. Subscribers, orchestration or send port, they can subscribe to any message from the message box. Now, what kind of subscriptions can be? Subscription can be activation subscription or it can be instant subscription. Activation, in case of activation, a new instance of subscriber will be created. In case of instance subscription, already running instance will use the message, right? So this information, a unique instance ID, is stored in subscription table of message box. So message box has all the information and accordingly passes message to any already running instance, or it create an instance. When message arrive, creates instance. BizTalk create an instance and then message is passes to that subscriber. So we have come to our last demo of this screencast. Here we'll discuss about message routing subscription, and then we'll discuss one end-to-end copying of an XML message from pickup to drop directory. Then we'll check, okay, if any routing failure occur, then how to find and debug it. Then we'll check use of inbound and outbound mapping. So I will open Visual Studio. Okay, let's use 2010. So here, since I have installed BizTalk, so I will find project types. So I will create new project. So here BizTalk project is selected. So I have two types. So BizTalk server project. So I will just give a name. Let's say my first BizTalk app. My first BizTalk app. So let's create, okay. So it will create a new project, and then I will start adding schema for current demo. So I will add a new schema. So here, after adding a new file, new item, right clicking and adding new item, you will find these options. So all are related to BizTalk. Since it identifies, okay, it's a BizTalk project, so these things are available. So we'll take one external order. So we'll add it. So it is giving me schema information, right? So we'll rename it, press F2, external order. Okay. So here we have created external order, but it doesn't contain anything. So now we need to insert child records or attribute or elements. So I will just first enter some child element like order ID. Okay. You can also do shortcut to enter any child element or attribute or record. So control IE, enters control IE, focus on the record and then press control IE. It will insert a new field. Then you will give, okay, let's have customer ID. Go back. Then press, let's enter a new record. So it's like control IR. So enter a record. You can see this. This is record. This is element. So record is let's say items. Items. Now items. Again press control IE. It will give field. It will have item information. Item control. Sorry, this item is wrong. So it should be record. Control IR. It is item. Now this control IE. It will contain like product ID, and let's add few more like product ID, description. Let's add control price, and then quantity. So this is my basic external order schema is created. So just save it. So a few features of this editor I will show you. So if you select on item, see this piece is highlighted. So I will increase its font. Yeah. So see this is highlighted. This whole thing. So here I selected item. This is highlighted. If I select price, price is highlighted. We can also move. So for example, I want quantity before price. So move here. So quantity is before price. So similarly, it will move here also. So here type information, everything is there. A schema, I have some target namespace. So target namespace is by default the project name dot schema name. But this should be unique. So sorry. So this can be, for example, newdesic.com / external order. So okay. So you can find all this property. You go here, you will find all various properties here. Content type, then group type. There are many. Then you can see namespace. This namespace you can modify. Let's create another schema. Name it internal order. Okay. So rename it internal order, and quickly keep adding records. This is internal order schema is internal to my application. So we need mapping it to be applied from external order to internal order. So my application is going to just provide me a few schema and one map for now. So put order date, then create new record, items, add new child record, item, add new element. Here we have SKU, name is little different. Then let's have element SKU and SKU and description. or here we have name. Okay, and then another child record here, child this which has totals. So we have items. Item contains multiple item, or we can move this total to order itself. Okay, so it is part of order. So order will tells, okay, this is the order date, these are the items, and this is total for the order. This is my internal schema. Let's save it. Save this also. So this two schema is created. Now I am going to create a simple map. Map external to internal order. So it is creating a map. All maps are of extension BTM. Now select source schema. I have here a schema. Everything will be listed. If we have multiple under multiple assemblies, it will be listed here. So source is external, and then select internal. So these two are expandatory. Just right click and expand, or control E. We can expand everything at one shot. So this two schema is created. One is source schema, and this is target schema for this mapping. This is called grid, where all mapping happens. You can have multiple number of pages. Each page will have that grid information, and you can add, you can have links or other things like functoid, which is we can discuss in some other screencast. So here just do some basic mapping, order to order ID, and then we have what we can do, just product ID to SKU and description to name. Okay, there can be a mapping like this. Let's delete this too. Okay, delete. Now here mapping can be applied like this. Take this, press shift, take this and apply to internal. So here after keeping shift key pressed and dragging from external order to internal order, I got some options when I left my mouse click. So I got like, okay, direct link by structure, by name, mass copy, cancel. So I will just do by name or by structure. So just do by structure. If by name, then it will try to find the exact name. Order ID, then order ID, like that. So by do structure. So it has found, it has completed, it has done all the mapping for me. So it is found that, okay, external order and internal order has some common structure, and that's why it has mapped accordingly. So let's check again. Customer ID is mapped to order date, which is wrong. So delete it. Item is mapped to items, item to item, product to SKU, okay, description to name, that is okay. So this is good enough for me. Now build it. Okay, so build succeeded. Now I am going to deploy my application. So after deployment, it will go to global assembly cache. So few things we need to take care here. So if database is configured, BizTalk database, so it will automatically pick BizTalk management DB and what is the server. You need to provide application name. So my first BizTalk, any name you can provide here, BizTalk app. Here's some more options. Redeploy if you want to run again and again. Redeploy. Install to global assembly cache true. So everything must be deployed to global assembly cache for BizTalk to run, so that BizTalk can access it. Now I will deploy it. Okay. So I tried deploying it. It failed. So try to understand why it failed. So failed to add resource. So it is saying is not strongly named. So anything which is deployed to GAC, it should be strongly named. So again, go back to properties, which is already open. Go to signing and sign this assembly. So my first BizTalk app. I just given this. I just don't use any password for now. Okay. So it will create one key for me to strongly name this file in this assembly. Build it and again deploy it. Okay. So the deployment has succeeded. Now go back to BizTalk and come here, right click, refresh. So we got one, my first BizTalk app. So which we have just now deployed to global assembly cache and which is red. BizTalk has red from there. So now try to see, it has orchestration within create, so it is not there. So let's see what is available. Schema. So we have two schema. So schema is available under schemas. If map, okay, we have one map. Map is available. Name of the map is assembly name dot map external to internal order map name. So these things are available. Now we need to do end-to-end copy of any XML. So we need a receive port and send port. So just have name like this, receive port, or just make it receive order 2, just to make sure it is unique. Create a receive location. Okay, receive order location 3. Name is it is using file, configure it. Okay, before configuring it, since those folder is configured here, this is configured in this, it won't access. So this folder order pick is configured. So let's disable it and delete it. Okay. So this port is using this. So once that is deleted, it automatically deletes this. In the same way, delete send port. Stop it and unlist and delete it. Okay. Now come back to receive location. Right click, create new send port for newly created receive location 3. So receive order location. Let's keep 3 only. File configure to, let's say, order, and it's pick directory is receive. So it will receive an XML format. Let's pass through BizTalk. Okay, right. So now go to send port, create a send port, send order port 2, for example. File configure drop directory. Okay, okay, and keep everything else same. So we have configured port. Now we'll we'll start this. We can start one by one, or we can start from here. So it will ask me to start. Click start. It will start all port, all send port, receive port, orchestration. It will start. So now it is receive port is listening to that location, my pick location. Now go to pick location. So it is, nothing is there in drop, nothing is there. So now let's take this copy. So this file is the I have, which is, let's open this file. Okay, so this file in the same format. In the same format, it has order ID, customer ID, and some details about some items, some products. So now copy this file to pickup directory. So you saw the file is gone. So file has been picked automatically. So as soon as file is copied to the pickup directory, it has been picked by BizTalk. Receive BizTalk application, my first BizTalk app, receive port. Right? This is running, so it has picked it. Now try to see what has happened. Did we get any file in drop directory? No. So something is wrong. So try to debug it. Now go here and try to run some query. Let's say, okay, just try to run query which equals message and run it. Okay. So you can see here there are some messages are there, okay, which has URI like order, so it looks like our only. So just check some of them. Okay, I clicked it. So okay, it is saying routing failure report. So service name routing failure report for this. So routing has failed. So there is a failure, routing failure which happened. Check the another one. Okay. Okay, so you can see the same message which is picked up from that folder, binary information. So let's close it. Now go back to group hub. Now see some suspended service. Okay, now you can see service name is receive order 2. So this is a port which is running as service. So let's open this. So here it is suspended. It means some problem happened. That's why it is suspended. So go to error message. The published message could not be routed because no subscriber were found. This error occur if the subscribing orchestration or send port has not been enlisted. So it's not been enlisted means message is published to message box, but there is no subscriber found for this. So this leads to uh, failure in the routing. So there is a routing failure error, right? So now you can see that message which we saw in the query is also listed here. So now close this. So how to fix it? So we need to fix the routing problem. So now go to send port. So receive port is publishing message to message box. Now send port uh, 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 should add some subscription. So it can be added through filter. So go here and then before this just copy receive port name. We are going to need it. So in filters here select. So these are the properties. You can say what is filter. Filter expression determine which message are routed to this send port. Created one or more filter expression using any property in the message context. So any property in the message context, these are part of message context. So any by default these are created. We have not added any property till now. We did not promote any property. So it is by default available. So let's take receive port name equals paste it. So we got this. So this is applied now. Click OK. So now I have I have applied subscription from for this send port. Now try to go back and copy this again. Okay, it has been picked. Go to drop. You can see a message is available, is processed, passes through BizTalk, and it is sent out from the BizTalk to this folder. Just open this message. You can see it is same message, which is passed because I'm not doing any processing of message. It is available here. Now try to see how to do inbound mapping or outbound mapping. So we have a receive port, right? So in receive port, there is something called inbound mapping. So here it is to transforming documents on the current port. So it can transform one message to another message. So a schema is different, so it will transform. So just select this map. We have one map in this application. Map external ext to internal order. So just select it. It will automatically find schema, target schema, source and target schema. So click OK. Okay. So now go back again and copy paste my sample order to pick up. So it has been picked. Now go back to drop folder. We have another one. So this is the latest. Open this. So you can see here we have message now, but it looks same as external order. So there is some problem somewhere is happening, right? Now go back again here. So try to fix that problem. Why message mapping? I have applied mapping here, inbound mapping, but why this mapping is not happening? So what is the problem? So go back to the receive location, right? So here it is pass through receive. In pass through, no mapping is applied. So you need to make it XML receive so that messages are processed and we have context available, right? And then only messages mapping can be applied to a message. So just click OK, right? So now try again, go back, copy this to pick up. It has been picked up. Now go to drop. We have only two messages, right? Now go back. So again try to see what is the problem we got that it is not available, right? Message is not coming still. So we have send port. We should also contain corresponding XML transit, so that once XML is passes through that, it should get assembled and all the steps should stages should be applied in reverse order of receive. So just make it okay. Now send and receive complements each other. Now go back to order, copy this to pick up. So message has been picked. Okay. So let's debug it. What is the problem we are facing? Go to group hub, suspended. Okay. So error message. So this, okay, it is having, let's go to purchase and just a minute. So it has two schema type, external and internal. Let's do mapping here, external to internal. Okay, and just a minute. Just for now, remove this. Okay, let's try to see if it works. So message has been picked. Try to debug it. Okay, so let's try to fix the problem. So go back. Just try to see what this we are getting here. Okay. So we are getting that. Okay, my first project schema message type is not correct. Okay. Okay, so it is message BizTalk project, but our is app. So there is this namespace is not matching, which is it is expecting some other namespace, but it is having some other namespace. So go back to order. Now look into this. What is the namespace here? So it is project. So it should be app. My first BizTalk app. Okay, go back. My first BizTalk app, yeah, right. So now again try to copy paste in the pick. So there can be problems like this. Okay, yeah. Now we got another file at 450, right? This is the latest file. So now this file has mapping applied. So this has mapping applied. You can see order ID and all. Since our mapping is not complete, it is very basic. I'm getting only first item because there is no iteration, and only getting order ID, which is mapped to the to order ID and the first item. So in this way, mapping is done. So going back to presentation. Okay, right. So we have looked into various demo in this message routing, subscription, end-to-end copying of XML file from pickup to drop directory. Then we checked if any problem occurs, routing failure problem, how to debug it. We checked inbound or outbound mapping, and we applied mapping, and then we got a message transformed. So this is a basic introduction to BizTalk messaging. In my next screencast, I will discuss about BizTalk orchestration. So that is going to be again very interesting discussion. Stay tuned. Thank you.